Hello, everyone. My name is Suzanne Wagner, and I'd like to give you my intuitive patterns for the month of February 2015. Yes, Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius. All of the retrogrades this year are going to be in air signs. And so they are going to be activating your mind. They're also going to be making you review your thoughts and your ideas and your perceptions. With Saturn now being in Sagittarius, it's going to create us really expanding our philosophy and making us look at our beliefs and our perceptions, while at the same time the Mercury retrograde is going to allow you to review those. So on one level, we're doing an incredible expansion, and having the Saturn in Sagittarius is very external, it's very outgoing. It has a lot more energy. It'll make you feel much better than the last 2.5 years where we had Saturn in Scorpio, which was very internal and very emotional and really intense. So we have, now that this is going on, we have that Saturn is in Sagittarius, and it's going to be doing this for a few months until Saturn goes retrograde. And it will be going retrograde back into the pattern that some of you might have experienced the end of September all the way through December 23rd of 2014. So if you had a struggling time during that period, you might want to kind of reflect on that now, and you might want to come up with some new ideas or strategies, because the universe is going to have a tendency to test you and see if you learned the lessons that you were supposed to learn in the fall into the winter of 2014. So Mercury is going to be retrograde until the 11th of February. And at the same time, we will still be in the shadow of Mercury, which means it still sort of feels off a little bit for another 2 weeks after that. So here we are in February, the month of Valentine's, and we have a strong focus on the elements of duality. In this month, since we're unifying duality, we are going to be unifying the pattern of lovers, because we're in the time of love, masculine and feminine, good and bad, right and wrong, and we'll see how we evolve with this. It is important to remember that within each of us, we are both male and female. There are moments when we need to be the masculine eagle, flying high with majesty, clarity, and embodying power and aloneness. And then there are moments when we need to become the feminine swan, gently floating and diving into the elements of our emotions with the embodiment of space, grace, and purity. Remember that the conflicts always originate within you. You cannot create a bridge between your own opposing and yet complementary sides if you judge one part, suppress another, or feel guilty about something from your past and are still holding on to some mental self-hatred. This is the month to create bridges between the dominant parts of yourself and those other parts that deserve and need some attention and connection. If you notice that you are very loving and beautiful in one moment, and then hours later you are expressing absolute anger or fear, then something is not fully integrated. When you are unified within, the emotions may still roll past your mind, but your identification with them and the attachment to voicing them or your expression of them will be very different. When the different sides of your mind and heart communicate and become strengthened, then the duality disappears and the bridge connecting them becomes stronger. At that point, they unify into one great bridge of awareness. In that moment, a crystallization occurs and the duality evaporates. All becomes one in your male-female internally, and you become one powerful moving force of conscious clarity, where each is heard and honored for the gifts and insights that they share. The logic and the illogic within you finally understand each other, and the chaos and clarity find a way to be with each other in the flow of love. Right now, you are being an earth keeper. This month is supposed to be a synergistic shield of perspective and respect for all things. If you do not feel that this part is fully activated, it is time to look at what you are judging within that is preventing the natural alignment of all life in the great cosmic flow that is available to all. You do not need to earn it. It is your birthright to be here on the planet. This is such a wonderful gift, and so often in our rushing around and getting caught up in thinking, we lose touch with the wonder and magic that is the passionate flow of life force and nature. In this month of love, don't forget to put your heart awareness into the animal and nature kingdoms. Often their lives have more suffering than humanity. So become aware of your own suffering and learn to expand beyond the limitation of suffering into a larger world that is the envelope of love that surrounds and protects us all. When you are fully embodied and awakening, you will notice the suffering of others. Everything alive has a soul. Everything on this planet has that spark of life within it. Everything that lives struggles to navigate the world and the priorities of the pattern that its life requires. Remember, your pattern and priorities are not necessarily the priorities or joys of your pet. What a farm animal wants and needs may be very different than what you want to offer. When you can step beyond your own fears, insecurities, or emotions, you begin to notice the needs of others. It is not about what you want or what you need to give others. It is about what they need. And then it is your job as a conscious being to find a way to give that to another in the way that opens them, serves their growth, and supports the expansion of love that is not about getting, but about giving. You have an opportunity this month to take a look at how you communicate with your inner self. Are you being loving? Are you being respectful? Notice how you choose words and be willing to look at the shadow in the mirror. And do not turn away from what you might see within that is perhaps a bit off-putting and might be a reflection of something in the past. Look beyond the event and into the heart and longing of who you really are. Yes, this is going to take some work, which is why we have the beaver in the cards this month. And Beaver reminds us that it is always best to have more than one way in or out of any situation. Beaver tells us to look at the alternatives, become aware that limiting thoughts stop productivity. It is time to settle differences within yourself and also in your outer world. Use discernment with love, and you will discover ways through all situations that are currently causing you problems. So I hope you have a wonderful month. Enjoy your day. Bye.